It is December 10th at 5:30.
January 10th.
Oh, January 10th, 2022, at 5:30 in the evening. This is the Board of Health. Can I get a roll call, please?
Gavin Byers.
And Chris Nosella. Additions or deletions, I don't believe we have any.
I've already switched the other, if you have the updated agenda, Gavin, I don't know if you do.
I gave them the ones you gave me.
Okay, so 1.6 was other septic permits for review, which we have 12A Meadow Road, which is a septic transfer.
Yep.
And that's pretty much the only change that was on the agenda.
Okay, so let's go to 1.3 COVID update, Rick.
How about we take Jack first?
Oh, you want Jack? You want to go first? Sure. All right, go ahead. We'll do COVID afterwards.
The Bruins are coming on.
I should make you wait until the end then.
So Jim, we're moving to 1.4, which is 24 Old City Road, where we sent you the full-size plans.
I got it in my hand.
Excellent.
Talk to us.
Okay, so we're looking for two local upgrade approvals. One of them is the use of a sieve analysis versus the perk test because it was too wet. And the other one is the location of the proposed septic system in relationship to the well. You can see we have the 100-foot radius here. We're about 80 feet from the well with the closest point of the system. A couple reasons I kept the system in here. One of them is where this red splotch is, or where it says existing septic system, current septic system. If I would push that downhill and away, I'd start getting into that. That's just more excavation, more cost for my client. But the other issue is if we were to take, and you can see where the limit of fill is, if we were to take that and squeeze that down, we're still not going to be completely out of the 100-foot radius with the new septic system. So trying to keep the cost down. It is a raised system. We have water at 24 inches. We have a 2-minute perk rate. So we do have a 5-foot groundwater offset. And again, those are the only two requests that we're looking for. In regards to the hydrological flow, if you can look at the quad map that we have up here, where the septic system's on the downhill side of where the water would flow naturally down off of, I think it's Bayberry Hill Road. So we have all this groundwater coming this way, we have the well uphill system downhill, and then it would continue to flow down. So with that being, you know, the well uphill, I don't see any hydraulic connection from the septic system to the well.
Jim, I don't know what this system he's talking about is, Jim. Can you help me out?
Yeah, this is one of those modernized, upgraded systems. The only thing I don't like about these systems is a continual flow. It goes in one end and it's got a loop around every friggin' pipe all the way to the vent on the end of it. But that's what they've designed and that's the way it's working. As far as the well situation, it's a pre-existing condition, so therefore we have to accommodate the best we can on a pre-existing condition. And the sieve analysis is something we've been familiar with recently, so we know what's going on there.
Okay. So your recommendation would be to accept this then?
I would recommend to accept this, yes. You want me to make a motion?
Let's see what Gavin has to say.
Yep.
Okay.
You good? Okay, go ahead, Jim.
I make a motion to accept 24 Old City Road as drawn with 2 variances for the well and the offset to the property line, if I'm not mistaken.
Sieve analysis.
Sieve analysis, I'm sorry. Okay, with the reduction to the distance of the well and the sieve analysis, that's what it is.
I'll second.
Sorry.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So moved. Okay. And
Thanks,
enjoy
Gavin.
your day. Thanks, Rick. Okay. Yeah, they're gonna move back, we're gonna move back to,
We're gonna go up
Well,
to
actually, we're going up
1.5 to manure management
Yes,
because Andrew's here now.
yes. Okay, so we're actually gonna
I'm
jump,
just gonna sign that.
yep. So we did 1.4, we're gonna go 1.5. Manure management plan for 3 Wheeler Road. Andrew, you're up.
Yep, did you guys get a chance to read it over?
I haven't seen it, I'm sorry.
All right.
You can just refresh me, that'll be fine.
Yep, I'm pulling up the next one.
Oh, is that what that was?
That's what that was.
I just got this though.
All
Go
right,
ahead,
so-
Andrew,
Yep,
please.
yep, so we got 2 pages. Ultimately, I mean, we've had our first 4 days of operation with the facility. Our overarching position is the majority of everything we take off-site. Oh, yeah. So the majority of everything, you think I can sit here with that?
Absolutely, yeah.
The majority of everything we take off-site, that leaves largely just the wastewater, which includes the quaternary, which is aerobically biodegradable, and would be the traces of blood. And that gets spread on the fields as of now. So, and we process like 3,000 turkeys or so, roughly. And we really generated only a few shovelfuls of manure and other stuff. I mean, I think that's the base of it. It talks about who our vendor is, where it's going. It's not too crazy, it's just moving poop and water.
Jim, do you have anything?
Got anything? Jim, do you have any questions or thoughts?
No, actually, I saw the operation myself, and I thought it was very well managed and very well done. And I think they've done an excellent job there, so I'm in favor of whatever they're going for.
All right.
Rick, do you have something for us?
So the only thing I have is when we had gone through this originally, the plan was to take the blood and spread it. And so I had posed that question to Michael Cato from the state at Mass DAR. And he didn't necessarily have concerns about it, but couldn't get really a straightforward answer. And obviously things have changed pretty significantly since, where most of the stuff's going off site now. And this is really your wastewater with kind of trace amounts of blood in it. But the one thing that he had said is that there might be some permitting related to the land application piece of it. So if they weren't gonna be doing composting, the land application might have requirements that go along with it. So I had left a message for the person he put me in touch with, this Terrence Lascola, who I guess is in the Division of Crop and Pest Services. And so I haven't heard back from her, but I don't have an issue with the plan, other than I just don't wanna make sure that there's no other licensing or permitting required at the state level for it.
How will we know that?
I just need to talk to her.
Okay, so do we look at approving this with the restriction
I guess,
that the state approves it?
are
Or?
you really operating right now?
No.
So I guess, if we could buy 2 weeks to hopefully get an answer from her, then you could potentially approve it if you guys have no other issues with it.
When are they gonna go back into operation, next fall?
We'd like to do some chickens in the spring, but we found a lot of operational things to improve, so we're gonna work on that in the winter, and once we get that done, we'll think about.
Yeah, so if we put you off for 2 weeks just to get that answer, it's
There's
not
a
gonna be a
rush.
big deal.
No.
Okay, Gavin, you got anything? No?
I read through the plan, it looked fine.
Yep, okay, so why don't we do this then? We'll put you off to the next meeting.
Okay.
Or until Rick hears, maybe, back from, because he might
But
not.
they've gotta accept it in a meeting anyway, so
Yeah.
it might be as simple as if she says, yeah, it's good, no reason for Andrew to come back, you guys could just approve it at the
Okay.
next meeting.
Excellent.
If there's issues, then we'll let you know.
So you think you'll hear from her within the next 2 weeks?
I would hope so, yeah.
All right, so why don't we do that then, guys? We'll keep that on the agenda, Andrew. We will get in touch with you if you need to be here.
Yeah, sure.
If you don't, we'll just notify you,
That sounds great.
okay?
All right.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Okay, let's move you back over here, Jim, so we can all hear you.
We're gonna be going to COVID, so we might wanna go to Rick.
Oh, all right, Rick. Let's go to 1.3, COVID update.
Around the table.
So, we'll just go through the numbers first, and
Yeah.
there have been quite a few changes as far as COVID goes.
Yep.
So 1/6/22 was the last reporting from the state, and, like most towns, you guys went up. So on 12/30/21, you guys had 91 cases in Townsend. On 1/6, they reported 105 cases.
Oh, jeez.
In Townsend?
In Townsend.
When was this?
This was on the 6th, so Thursday last week.
Oh,
Percent positivity rates, so Townsend increased from 13.74% on the 30th to 17.17 on the 6th. At the county level, Middlesex County more than doubled. It went from 5.99% on December 30th to 12.55% on the 6th. And then at the state level, it also more than doubled, so state was 7.74%, and they increased to 15.03%. So, the numbers are definitely increasing at a pretty dramatic rate. As far as vaccinations go, they did start giving us booster numbers, and I think that showed up for the first time on the December 30th report. So right now, as far as vaccinations go, people with at least one dose of the original vaccine series or that Johnson & Johnson are at 73% of the town fully vaccinated. So either both shots in the 2-shot series, Pfizer and Moderna, or
I think you can mute him.
the one shot of the Johnson & Johnson. The town's at 66%, so that increased 1 percentage point. And then as far as the boosted population,
That only mutes us.
the town is at 30% that have received booster shots in total. And just like we had seen when we had, first started giving out vaccinations, that 65 to 74 and the 75 plus population are the ones that have mostly gone out and got that booster up until this point. At the county level, as far as vaccinations go, Middlesex County with at least one dose is 87%. Again, you guys were at 73. And then the fully vaccinated in Middlesex County is at 76%, and you guys are at 66%. So 10 percentage points behind the county, but you're actually catching up to them. And so those are kind of the numbers. As far as kind of what's gone on in the past couple of weeks, at the last meeting, you guys had asked to distribute flyers to local businesses with the strong suggestion of wearing the mask. And so I put that flyer together, and Mike from our office went out and brought it to all the businesses that Carla had given us a list of. And he had said, most of them actually already had signs up that were requiring masks, but everybody was cooperative. They took the signs, and I've been by, most places do have them up. And so whether or not it's made a difference, I'm not too sure. A lot of people are wearing masks right now. They're going out and about. We had talked a little bit about test kits, and so the change since we had last met is that the state finished their contract negotiations with those test kit companies, and so they have contract prices available to municipalities to be able to purchase these. And I guess there was some discussion at the Neshoba Executive Committee meeting about whether or not it would make more sense for Neshoba to order kits because the more you buy, the more the price goes down, or if it made more sense for towns to individually order them, and they kind of came to the conclusion that it made more sense for towns to order them individually. Reason being is more because we don't receive ARPA funds directly, they go to the towns, and so to try and make it work with 15 towns getting their ARPA funds together, it just didn't seem to make sense. So that was kind of how everybody left that meeting, feeling was that if they wanted to go out and get them, that they could purchase them with the ARPA funds that the town received, and then you guys could figure out how to distribute them. But there has been no talk about handing them out again. They're gonna cost whatever they cost.
Chairman?
Yes.
The town administrator, Ross and I have been speaking about this and formulating a plan.
Mhm.
We don't have a plan because we don't know if we have them, but it looks like now the funds are available, so I don't know if the selectmen are going to request those. But if that's the case, I think that they're looking at the Board of Health as running how to distribute them throughout the town.
These are the
The
tests?
kits.
Yes, I thought we worked with the fire department to possibly use
So
the
you're still
central fire.
okay, you're still okay with using the central
I
fire
have
department?
no problem with that.
Okay, okay.
It's a good place to bring cars in and out real quick. You guys good with that?
Yeah, I mean, if that's how we normally kind of distribute stuff like that, or.
We've never had to before. Everything we're doing is new.
No, yeah,
We have no idea. We just have the opportunity to have healthcare professionals and
Yeah.
fire department professionals that know how to do this more than we do.
Okay.
I think it's a great place, because you can pull right in, grab your stuff, and pull right back out and get out. Or they can probably work with Blue Seal and use that side street to hand things out. I don't know how. The fire department will do it, but they did agree to
to do it, so.
let us use the facility, and they would hand them out for us.
Okay, excellent.
Okay, Jim, you good with that? Yes, I can. Somebody put you off speaker. Okay, now you're back on speaker.
Am I hearing that you're gonna use the fire station to distribute these kits?
Yes,
If they are available
Yeah.
and if the town decides to purchase them.
I 100% disagree with that. I think there should be another location because we can't obstruct the emergency vehicles at any point in time.
the deputy fire chief that's in charge thought it was a good idea and was willing to do it.
Well, we
Maybe
don't,
he didn't think it through thoroughly because if there's a bad fire and they gotta get out of there in a hurry and there's people there getting test kits in front of the fire station, they can't do that.
I'd like to clarify this, Jim. When we were looking at the emergency dispensing site with the EDS plan, the mobile vaccination plan was scheduled for the fire department. But there are different fire department locations.
Yep,
So, that's definitely something that I will ask.
I think the library senior center is another
I
option.
would recommend we go to the Harbor Fire Department and ask the shepherds if it's okay to use the parking area in front of the ice cream stand, which is gonna be a lot
It's a
more.
great idea.
for all.
It's a fantastic idea.
yep, we can check with Gary on that. You also, I don't know if there's a road that goes around that fire station in the harbor. I'm not
Parking
really,
lot's big enough that they could make a thing to
yeah,
go around.
it doesn't go around?
I don't think it does.
No, I don't think it does, but you
Okay.
can set up cones down there and make it an organized situation so people
Yeah.
can go through conveniently. But I don't agree with the one in the center or in West
Oh,
Town.
they were.
No, the one in
Yeah.
West Townsend's
Parking
just
lot.
too small.
Exactly.
Way too small, and we can't disturb the center station, we gotta go to the harbor in my opinion.
Okay, yeah, I'm good with that. I have no, like I said, wherever the best place is, and I'm always open to, suggestions, Gavin?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that the fire department would put themselves in a position to block an emergency.
Hmm.
I'm sure that they would set it up in such a way that they wouldn't impede themselves. But that might be a better location anyway, just
Yep,
on that side of town.
yep.
So, you know, we can give them suggestions and go from
Yeah.
there.
Well,
It actually
what
is a
we'll
lot
do
better
is
to
we'll
get in
go
and out,
back
because
and,
you're not right at that
we can
intersection.
check with, Gary that, and see what he thinks is best with the fire department doing it, because that's a good
Yeah.
freebie for us.
Okay, I just had to have my input there because I don't wanna disturb the center station in any factor because they gotta get out of there and go and sit cars out front and so the lights turn red, there's a lineup of traffic there, they're in trouble.
Understood. And it's good thinking on your part.
Thanks, Chris.
So the old brain still works a little.
Don't push it.
Okay, so that takes care of that. Do you have anything else on COVID?
Yeah, so some more COVID stuff. So there was some pretty big changes to the isolation and quarantine requirements. So I know Jim had forwarded to you. I don't know if it continued going on to Gavin and Jim. It kind of puts everybody who's not vaccinated or received their last vaccination more than 6 months ago in the same category. So they've kind of redefined what vaccinated is as far as isolation and quarantine goes. So basically, you aren't subject to quarantine if you are fully vaccinated and it hasn't been 6 months yet, or if you're boosted. So if you fall into the other category where you're not vaccinated or your vaccination was more than 6 months ago, you would go into a 5-day quarantine if you are a close contact. And then after that 5 days, if you weren't experiencing symptoms, then you would be able to get released. But you'd have to wear a mask for the remaining 5 days. If you were in isolation, which means you tested positive, it's essentially the same. 5-day isolation period followed by 5 days where you can leave as long as your symptoms have subsided, and you have to continue to wear a mask. So that's kind of what that looks like now. There's a bunch of different nuances that go along with it, and Carl and I were kind of talking about it. And so at this point, I'm really sending everybody to our public health nurses so that they can get the specifics of whatever that case is and give them the best answer. Because if you're in the same household, things are a little bit different as far as where you calculate that quarantine period from, and it gets a little confusing. They also opened up, or so CDC recommended, and the agency that actually approves the vaccinations approved boosters for 12 plus. We're running that clinic on the 17th, and it's been a pretty popular question if we're going to be offering those. So basically, we're waiting for standing orders to come from the CDC and Mass Department of Public Health, and until we receive those, they can't offer vaccinations. So I've been telling people places like CVS or Walgreens that are part of that federal pharmacy program will be able to offer them before we could, but we might be able to offer them by the 17th, and I've been keeping a list of people that are interested. So if it becomes an option, then I'll get in touch with them and we'll get that done. Also today, the Department of Education announced that they were extending the masking requirement in schools through the month of February. And so I think that's just going to be something where they continue to look at it as it's getting close to expiration and extending it based on what's going on as far as COVID. And then the last thing I have COVID related is the COA question, because Ross had posed that to the board. Karen was asking about programs at the senior center through the COA and how they should be dealt with the current status of COVID. And so I didn't know if you guys wanted to talk about that at all, so we could give them an answer.
Absolutely, yes, that's what we're here for. Okay? Also, under this, I had asked Kyle to distribute to the board Littleton's COVID, for lack of a better word, COVID restrictions. I am not looking at this as this is what I want to do. This was actually issued in September. Our numbers are up over 120 now?
109.
109, okay, so we're definitely going the wrong direction. All I would like to do is ask the board to consider mandating masks inside public facilities. Our job as public health officials is to protect the citizens from themselves. We can't make them get shots, we can't make them social distance or anything else. Our job is to basically protect themselves, protect them from themselves. Now, Jim, when your board, and I don't know if you were chair, but said there would be no smoking on any town property, did you care what anyone else thought, or you just thought that was the right thing to do?
That was a state mandate way back in the day when they stopped and they banned did all the smoking stuff, and I'm still in favor of no smoking on town property, including school property.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's a good influence for the kids in any fashion. And we don't need the cigarette butts all over the place to get a rake up in the spring and the fall and all the rest of that garbage.
Okay. Yep, no, I'm just bringing that up because I remember I was unhappy with it, but hey, I don't smoke, I don't really care.
Well, I don't smoke, but I do care because anything kids see, they're gonna look at and they're gonna try to experiment at some point in time. We were all kids once. And I think keeping the smoking off limits for all town property is the right thing to do.
Absolutely, no, it was an example of how the board thought, and it wasn't a constitutional right thing, it isn't interfering with what people do, it's what is right for the people of the town.
Correct. And some people won't like it, but that's their problem, not ours.
That's correct. Now, I would like to, I don't want to make a motion yet because I want discussion on this. I don't want to do all the rest of this crap that they do multifamily units and all that crap. I just want to consider mandating masks in public buildings, whether they're restaurants, obviously would have to put it so that you can take it off at the table, you know, the library, the schools already have it. I just think it's the right thing to do for the town and for our citizens who are obviously, we're heading in the wrong direction. And it doesn't hurt anyone to wear a mask. Most people do, but it'll protect everyone else who doesn't wear a mask. Now, I would like discussion on that. Anyone want to start?
I'll start on that. I agree with that. I don't think we can push it to the restaurants at this time because restaurants, people are going to be consuming beverages and eating food, and it becomes part of a nuisance and what people want to do it on a volunteer basis. As far as all about public buildings, highway department, fire, police, all of those places, it should be a mandated mask wearing scenario because we're in charge of all that. And I think that the town hall should go back to the push the button for entry. I don't think it should be an open door policy at this time.
Well, we tried that already and the Board of Selectmen voted us down. Gavin, what do you think?
So my position's gonna be, for anything mandated, I need to see a ton of data. So
What number would you like to see people infected in this town that you would decide to say, I've had enough?
So I'd like to see a period of time that does not coincide with a holiday season, where everybody disregards the fact that we're in the middle of a pandemic.
Mhm.
Visits family, visits friends, travels,
I can't hear you.
and so my position, Jim, is that I'd like to see a period of time where we don't have a holiday, a major holiday going on, where people are gonna disregard the pandemic to go and visit family and friends, and be in an independent kind of time and space where we can evaluate whether or not the rise in cases are due to the holiday season or just due to the fact that the pandemic itself is becoming more extreme. So I think we're at the point, personally, that people are sick and tired of being confined, and they're, at this point in time, willing to risk visiting friends and family in lieu of what's going on, and that's why we're seeing the rise in data.
Yeah, go ahead, I'll let you finish.
If we want to talk about mandating things,
Mhm,
I would like to, like I've said before,
mhm.
sit down, figure out exactly what the numbers mean, understand fully what the numbers mean day to day, where our numbers are coming from here in Townsend, and then have a more in-depth conversation about whether or not the masks themselves are gonna prevent the spread of this problem in our town. I understand that our numbers look poor versus the rest of Middlesex County.
Have you looked at the numbers in our bordering towns?
Yeah,
They're worse than ours.
yeah, right,
So
exactly,
they're all going up and it's only getting worse.
right.
We
So,
need to pick a time to take a battle and stand on it. If we just wanna wait till there's no holidays, well, let's see, February's got President's Day, so we can't do February. March has got spring, oh, everybody's gonna be excited. You know, June has got summer, we can't do that because people will get together. July is the 4th. Oh, August, there's nothing in August, we'll wait till August? You can't do that. I'm sorry, I don't think we can.
but I don't think that the rise in cases is because people are not wearing masks in public space. I don't
But
think people,
we're not trying to protect them by, a mask isn't killing anyway. Your kids go to school with a mask on, don't they?
yes,
Are they put out that bad? That, you know, their life is gonna end?
no, but I don't know that that mask is preventing them from contracting COVID.
How do you know it's not keeping them from getting it?
I just said I don't. I
Then-
don't know.
So.
But I also
obviously-
don't know at this point in time
Hmm.
that it's not, this rise in cases is not because of the holiday season. I
But
don't know that at this
All right.
point in time, it's not because,
let me go back into your argument now.
Chris, let me finish.
Okay, go ahead, sorry.
That in the span of two years of this,
Mhm.
that people are not at a point where they're saying, okay, the government has said masks are gonna prevent the spread of COVID.
Mhm.
Everybody wore masks.
Mhm.
Everybody stopped being out in public for about a year,
Mhm.
right? They stopped seeing friends and family,
Mhm.
okay? It got to the point where people started to see each other again despite
Mhm.
what the mask warning was,
Mhm.
and then we saw an uptick in cases, okay? Now we're at the point where it's been another 10 months since then.
Mhm.
We have another major uptick to the point where we're at numbers higher than the previous 2 years.
Mhm.
We've mostly been wearing masks in schools,
Mhm.
mostly been wearing masks in urban areas. When I go into major cities, the majority of people are wearing masks.
Yes.
That I observe.
When you go anywhere around town, does the majority of people you see wear masks?
The majority, when I go to places like the grocery store,
Mm.
when I go to Walmart, the majority of people are wearing masks, yes. So I can't say that with the numbers being creeping up and up and up and up,
Mm.
that masks are preventing people from spreading the disease. I don't feel that we're getting it in public spaces. I feel that we're getting it in private spaces
Mhm.
and we're disregarding
Mhm.
our social distancing.
Okay.
That's that's my feeling. The second piece is,
Mhm.
this thing is from September
I
of
told you
2021.
that. I told
Right.
you I didn't wanna implement all the rest of the crap.
No, all
I
I'm
understand.
saying is,
Yes.
they made this decision for their town, which is very, very different than our town.
Do you know how many people live in Littleton?
A year ago, way more,
1,000 people more than Townsend.
right? And they have way, way more businesses.
Yes.
On a daily basis, they have way more people entering their towns.
Yeah.
So back in September,
Mm.
which is when they instituted this,
Mhm.
this is at a point where COVID numbers started rising,
Mhm.
right? And they've instituted mandated masks in their town,
Yes.
right?
Can I interrupt for 1 second? Do you have any idea what Littleton's numbers are now?
I can tell you in 2 minutes.
Please tell me. Go ahead.
So, I think for this town, as people are sick of COVID, they're going out, they're using the businesses, Littleton has way, way more
Oh,
businesses than we
absolutely.
do, right?
Yes.
So there's more people in public spaces in the city of Littleton.
Yeah.
At the beginning of an uptick, at roughly the year and a half point of the pandemic.
Okay,
I think that decision for them is a completely different decision for us to talk about mandating masks in town at this point in time
Okay.
today. And for those reasons, if I'm gonna be asked, if you were to say, make a decision today, I would say I'm not in favor for mandating it
mhm,
today. We've got nothing other than an uptick in cases, right?
mhm,
To say this is the reason to do it. We don't have the root cause of the uptick.
mm.
And you guys know at this point, I'm all about what's the data
Mhm.
and where's it come from and how do we understand it?
That
I
is-
don't feel like we understand it all right
Okay.
now. And I don't wanna make a decision based
Right.
on things that we don't fully understand, especially coming out of a holiday weekend. Now, if you were to tell me
Mhm,
6 months ago, we're gonna formulate a plan,
mhm,
and if numbers get to this point, under this criteria,
mhm,
and today, January 10th, 2021, we meet all that criteria, we're gonna implement a mask mandate,
Mhm.
I'd be fine with that, because we went back in time and we did all that homework, right?
okay,
Today, here and now, I think it's a knee-jerk reaction to what happened over the holiday season. And I think that in 3 and 4 weeks,
mhm,
there may be a different set of data that we're looking at, because we're looking at a very minimum set
okay.
right now.
Now, can I answer so many questions? Like you said, everybody was trapped and tired of being together. That ended last July. People have been out with no masks on, living their lives. And what happened? We get variants of this disease that is coming back and biting us in the ass. We got complacent. I just want to protect my town from being complacent. People don't like it. I don't like it. 9 times out of 10, I have to turn around to my truck and go back and get my mask. But I do it because it's the right thing to do. I can't make other people do the right thing unless I implement this. That is all I can do to protect my town citizens.
All I'm saying is, I think that, for me, we need to understand why we're telling people to wear the mask.
I think,
Not just a
I think
reaction.
people will understand that we've gone to over 100 cases now. It is getting worse. We need to do something to protect you. This is all we can do right now to protect you. Sitting back and going, okay, it's Christmas, it's New Year's. All right, then you get February, you've got Washington's birthday and Valentine's Day, so we can't do February because people are gonna get together. Like I said, you have to do it sometime. We can't just let it get so bad that 50% of the town is infected because we need more information. What do you need? I don't understand what you need. The cases are going up. We're trying to prevent the disease from spreading. We can't make people get shots. We're still below the state average, the county average. This is all we can do to protect our citizens. That's all I want to do. I don't want to do all the rest of this 2-page crap. I just asked Rick for something, and this is what he gave me.
Yeah.
That's all.
Mhm.
And that's all I want to do. Okay, Jim, what do you got?
Chris, can I have the floor?
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Okay, listening to the comments that I'm hearing from you and Kevin, I'm looking at this as, to simplify it, the masks are given insurance policy to assist us in slowing the spread down. They don't eliminate the spread, they slow it down. And while we don't have the information that's necessary to make a proper decision, knowing that it spreads through the air, I am in favor of recommending to everybody that you wear a mask. And if we don't do something to start slowing this down, what are we doing at all? Nothing. So we've got to implement something. And I don't want to step on you guys' toes, but I think that we should put the mask back into full effect for a period of time here. And hopefully that's going to assist in slowing the spread down, hopefully. But it's an insurance policy.
That's all I'm trying to do. I don't like it any more than anyone else does.
No,
I know no other way to help protect our citizens from themselves. I know it's just going up and I want it to stop.
With the information that we have that we're working with, which is very, very, very vague, we gotta do the best we can to assist in slowing it down in some fashion. And I think the only objective we have is to recommend the mask wearing again to see if that does help. And if the numbers change in 30 days, the numbers change. If we whip the band in 30 days, we do. But even down here, half the people in the stores are wearing masks and half aren't. But it's hard to say how it's gonna go. But I do believe that the mask helps slow it down. I do.
So do I.
And I agree.
And we've already recommended people wear masks.
And I'm not disagreeing that the masks don't help.
Right.
There's a big difference in my book between disagreeing on whether or not masks help and mandating in town to wear masks. That's a really big messy puddle that I feel that we step in by mandating that. And I'm just not comfortable with that.
Yeah, and I understand. I don't have a problem with it because my job is to protect the town, whether they like it or not. Me and Jim shut down Halloween because it was the right thing to do. Nobody wanted to do it. You would hate that, but it's the right thing to do, protect people.
We gotta start somewhere, and the people that have intelligence will listen to our guidelines, and the ones that don't wanna listen, that's their own fault.
That's what a mandate is, though.
The mandate is making them wear masks. Yeah,
So there's a big difference.
yeah. We're recommending now that they wear masks. And the people that don't want to aren't going to, and that's not helping our town.
But
That's my opinion.
so 166 cases in Littleton, to answer your question.
So they've gone,
But, my big question, it isn't really even related to the mandate, it's how do you propose to enforce the mandate?
it's the same as we did before, Rick. All we
I guess-
can do is put it out there and hope for the best.
I guess, being the one that did it,
Yeah,
it wasn't fun. I was put in situations that I didn't want to be in.
right.
And for the most part, if people weren't gonna wear them, they weren't gonna wear them. And if they were gonna wear them, they were, and you don't have much of a difference there. So that's why I'm asking you as far as enforcement, what would your plan be? Do you actually wanna go out and write tickets and do that? Cause if I'm gonna be doing that, I don't know if I'm gonna be going out and doing that on my own. 'Cause
No,
just don't
I
feel
completely understand that.
And not only that, like, it's really, so anybody who you ask to wear a mask is wearing a mask right now, right? We've recommended it, the people who are gonna wear masks are wearing masks. The people who don't wanna wear a mask,
They're gonna kill the rest of us.
they're not gonna kill the rest of us. They're
How do you
not.
know that? You don't have any
Because
facts.
You're making an assumption and that's empty. Cause
As I do.
if you're wearing a mask,
Yes,
your belief is that if you're wearing a mask, you're protected.
I'm actually wearing a mask to protect other people.
From,
From me.
okay, so which people are you gonna be protecting?
Anyone I go near.
All right, so you're saying that the people who don't wanna wear a mask,
Yeah.
you're protecting them already,
Yeah, and they're not protecting me.
but you have a mask on,
Well, I think,
right?
so I haven't seen any data on it recently, but there was some initial data coming out when they were looking at the surgical masks, really. And so it basically said that there's more protection for you if I'm wearing a mask than for me if you are.
That's all they're for.
Okay,
That's all they're for.
I,
You know, I'm not trying to be a but I'm just telling you, our job sucks. This is the
don't
board that
disagree
has
with
to
that.
be the worst in town. I'm just doing I'm bringing up what I think is right to protect citizens of this town because no one else will. We've recommended, and if no one wants to do it, then we just sit back and go, well, it, who cares?
But if we say we recommended them, and then we can prove that the people not wearing masks results in,
can't. We
let
can't.
me finish the
You
statement.
can't do it because of HEPA laws.
It's not gonna happen because the technology and the scientists don't even know what's going on or what direction it is. So all we gotta do
Can't prove
is
it.
assist these people in protecting themselves a little bit more by wearing a mask.
That's all we can do. That's all we can
So,
do.
if by mandating masks in this town,
Mhm.
we create more problems
For who?
for people like Rick, for people like the store owners who are in the store with one customer who's not wearing a mask and another one who is, and it turns into a finger pointing game, and now there's an incident in the town. That's what's gonna happen.
Do you know how many times during COVID that I went into stores to talk to owners, pulled them aside, and told them they need to wear their masks? I don't wanna hear more complaints, because they'd call him, and I tried to protect them from themselves. And only one of them, I remember, was real bad and almost went to court.
Yeah, I mean, we took.
Yeah,
care
and
of
that's the business owner, right?
Yes,
What about
but-
the
but-
customers in there?
They put the signs out and they say, you cannot come in without a mask. It's not a big deal wearing a mask. It's not. You wanna
I
look and
agree.
you wanna say, I ain't wearing a mask, I don't care. Then don't go in a store. It's not my fault.
I agree, but
It's
there's
not
a
my
big
fault.
difference between wearing a mask, recommending a mask, and mandating
Yep.
that everyone wears a mask.
All right, well, I am going to make a motion and we will vote on it, and if it, doesn't pass, it doesn't pass. I am going to make a motion that we mandate masks in all,
You can't.
What?
So you have to hold a public hearing and adopt.
oh, okay, so we'll put
So
on
you
the
can,
agenda
like,
for a public
You
hearing,
can,
next
you
meeting.
can bring it there and
Yeah.
get there, or you can,
Yeah.
find out where everybody stands if you wanna continue.
Yeah,
to
well,
pursue
where
it.
does I know where Gavin stands, where do you stand, Jim?
I'm in favor.
Okay, so, Kyle, on our next agenda, we'll put in a, public hearing, for mask mandates. And we'll have to work with Rick on how to write it up so that we, you know.
So it's similar to everything except for the septic regs, so you have to have it on agenda.
If they wanna call us names, I've been called names before, no big deal.
Yeah,
Well, so you have to post an agenda, hold
Yeah.
a public hearing,
Yeah.
and have a set of regulations to consider and adopt.
yeah.
So
Well, we
Did
can
the
work with
motion
you.
pass, Chris?
Say that again, Jim?
Did the motion pass?
No, we can't have a motion, we actually have to have a public hearing on it.
Well, fill me in on that, please.
Well, move up,
Sure.
or take the phone.
So,
Take the phone.
and it's not as simple as just taking a vote and requiring the mandate. You have to go through a public hearing and adopt a set of regulations that would require masks be worn in public places in town.
When did that happen, Rick?
It has always been there, it's just we didn't have to do it before because the state adopted the regulation.
Okay, so we can't follow state mandates?
The state doesn't
It's not
have a
a
mandate right now.
No, that would be what we'd be working with.
We had all this discussion, went through the process, and it's no good.
Nope, I mean, you went through the process and talked about it to see where you all stand, to see if you want to hold a public hearing. But you just can't, you can't do it without properly advertising it.
Oh, so we're going right back to the rule book, okay. Well, if that's what it takes, then that's what it takes.
Okay.
All right.
One other thing under COVID I'd like to share with the board, which they might not be aware of. On January 6th, we had a COVID vaccination set up, and unfortunately, due to COVID, a lot of the staff, nurses and workers, I believe, Rick,
So,
were
yeah, I don't know if we want to get too specific, but yeah, it was canceled.
It was canceled.
Yeah.
So we thought that what we would do is have it put on the signboard, just to let people know, to save them some time from having to get out of work and, go and change and run to the senior center to get a shot to find out that it's not there. We were told that the only one that could approve the changing of the board was the chairman of the selectmen's committee. Unfortunately, listen, I'm not done. So, under government rule, when the chairman is not available, the vice chair is in charge. Now, the vice chair was in Florida, so he was not available. So we tried to get the clerk to make the decision and said he cannot do that without Veronica's signature. So apparently the town completely stops when the chair is unavailable.
It actually wasn't the clerk, it was the town administrator who said
Yeah,
it.
see, why are we on a board of health if we don't have any say? This is
He
not
said there's nothing he
security.
can do, I saw his email. He said there's nothing, yeah, he said there's nothing he can do.
Okay.
So in other words, when our chairman of our select committee is unavailable, the town, I guess, stops. For, you know,
That's total BS. Total BS.
and I agree with
And all
you.
they do is pass the buck up there. They're just a bunch of, they throw basketball around the friggin' tables. I'm sick of them.
Yeah,
There's no reason not to have an authoritative person ready to make a good decision and let the town go forward. This is garbage.
yeah. Now, that was just, I just want to let you know that we tried, and it was not something we could accomplish. So I'm gonna close out the COVID and we will move to,
Was there a COA thing?
Yeah, so the,
oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
so Karin had sent that email to Ross,
Yeah,
asking about the programming at the COA and if, you know, we had any thoughts as far as that goes, because I guess they've had, some programs that canceled because of COVID.
Yep.
And kind of just wondering, you know, whether the Board of Health had any thoughts on whether, you know, programming should continue or if there should be any, you know, restrictions put in place or whatever it might be. So it just came through right before our meeting. But it's, you know, an opportunity where we're here, and if you guys want to talk about it, or if you have any thoughts on it, then we can pass those along to Karin and the town administrator.
I'm moving that over.
Chairman,
Yes,
prior to this select board upstairs we have now, I can look back on the Board of Health for many years, and the Board of Selectmen never gave us a bad time and told us what to do. Something's gotta change here.
well, unfortunately, that is up to the voting public and not us.
I'm not happy. I'm not happy.
I knew you wouldn't be, Jim.
Time into something and they tell you you can't do anything about it all the time you put in.
Yeah,
Okay,
well,
let's
it's-
move to this meeting here, let's go.
Okay, so
I
Rick,
got about 10 more minutes and I've got another engagement.
okay, I'll do my best to run this through. Rick, can you?
Carla told me it's gonna be a short meeting.
Yeah, I know, but we've had a very lengthy discussion on COVID,
Yeah, I
so,
know, I'm busting your chop, let's go.
yeah, no bocce for you.
Shuffleboard. They're not playing that, don't during the deal with.
Okay, please, Rick, go on. I don't know, did you hear anything Rick said?
I didn't hear much of Rick, no.
All right, so there was an email that Ross had sent out. It was really a forwarded email from Karin, who was the director at the COA. And they were basically asking about programming because they've had to cancel some programming lately because of COVID. And so they're asking for the Board of Health's opinion as to whether programming should continue or if it should continue with restrictions or whatever it might be. So we just got it before the meeting tonight, but it's an opportunity to you know, talk about the senior center and the programming that they have over there. And you know, we can pass along any input that you guys have as far as that goes.
All right, can that be tabled for the next meeting or is that gonna happen tonight?
They're probably looking for a opinion sooner than later.
Okay, now we gotta make that work, but we can't make anything else work for Cross's vision.
It's basically a recommendation, it's not anything else. All right, actually, you know what? We're gonna let Gavin start this one.
I'm not clear as to what they're looking for from us. I mean,
So-
how do they hold
so
their
bef-
meetings?
So they offer things like yoga, knitting classes, different things where the seniors can go and they can take part in whatever programs that they have planned for them. And as part of that, they'll bring in instructors that from outside of the COA that'll put on that programming. And so when we were originally going through COVID, last year or maybe even the year prior, they would come to us and ask, does the Board of Health have any recommendations for what we should be doing at the COA? And I know at one point, we had made the recommendation that they should close, which they did. And so I think it's kind of a similar situation where we know the Omicron variant is very contagious. Are there any suggestions from the Board of Health as far as how the COA should handle this from our perspective?
I mean, I think, I'm not a specialist on public events with older people. If there's some sort of a recommendation out there for, at a minimum, let me back up. At a minimum, we have in schools a 3-foot social distancing requirement and a mask requirement,
So they are social distancing,
They're
and
social
because they're a
distance.
town building, they're wearing masks.
and they're wearing masks.
Yeah.
I mean, other than that,
That's all we can do, I think.
I think that if they don't feel well, they shouldn't go. If they feel like they're okay to go,
Mhm.
I mean, then I would say you're okay to go. I mean, other than that, I wouldn't say, yeah, they should shut down at this point. I mean, it's kind of a case-by-case basis, isn't it? That's how I kind of feel about it.
Yeah.
I
I,
agree with you, Gavin.
yeah, I think so. We already have the mask and the social distancing. There really isn't much more we can do for them right now. I know this variant is a lot more mild than the first two, so we still don't want them to get sick as long as they've social distanced, wearing masks, and use the hand sanitizer. That's about all we can do to protect them. I would say that's probably a recommendation. Do you guys agree?
Yeah.
Well, I know, I'll check in with Karen, but I know even before when everything happened, she had come up with a protocol for anybody entering the center where they would ask them a series of questions, they'd take their temperature, things like that. So there was kind of some surveillance of people coming in before they got into anything. So
Sure.
we'll make sure she's still doing that.
Maybe,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe have I don't even wanna say like have a close contact log or anything like that. I mean, we're not really doing that anywhere else.
No.
So,
Yeah.
Maybe just initiate some conversation around just general health.
You can just tell them to make sure that they hand sanitizer in, hand sanitizer out, maintain your
And,
distance,
can
and
we recommend that somebody's at the door in these facilities with a thermometer so they can check the temperature of people?
That's what they were doing, but I'll check to make sure they still are.
Alright.
he heard you. Your voice is carrying. Hey, they wrote a song about that. Okay. Now, is that it for COVID?
That's all I've got.
Okay, anybody else?
Okay.
Okay, so let's move on. Bruin's starting a little over a half
I want
hour.
Jim to hear the legal update too.
Okay, well, we'll get there. We still got 12A Meadow Road.
Yes, simple,
So it's just a 1-year renewal on an existing permit. So pretty straightforward.
Are these people gonna do this, or are they just,
We'll find out. It's George Sullivan is the owner of the property. And I don't know what his plans are. It's a vacant parcel right now.
oh, it's still vacant?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
get a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the, which one is this, 12A Meadow Road extension renewal.
Second,
Seconded.
all in favor?
Alright,
Alright.
Aye,
Excellent.
so moved.
Okay.
All right, so 1.7, legal update.
Is this for me?
yeah.
Legal update.
So I'm assuming this is about Turnpike Road?
Yes.
Alright, so, this is 5 Turnpike Road, Unit 220. It was the apartment that we had been involved in before, and then we were contacted by emergencies, this one was contacted by the electrician, who was going through as part of, I think it was like an insurance audit, and so they were checking to make sure that all the electrical work was in compliance and they were upgrading it as needed. And they went into this particular unit and chose not to enter because of the sanitary conditions, and we were made aware of it as a result. So we've been trying, I think since September, to get an administrative search warrant to go into the property, to do an inspection to see what it looks like. And originally we had tried to go through the Lawrence Housing Court and hit a bunch of roadblocks as far as that goes. They wanted us to apply the criminal search warrant standards, which are just very different from an administrative search warrant. And so Adam Costa, who's town council, had suggested we go a different direction and file with the Air District Court. So I had met him over there on Thursday. We filed the paperwork with the clerk and we left with the search warrant. So we do have it. My plan is to exercise it tomorrow. A police officer is going to be coming with me, and we'll hopefully be let in and complete the inspection and go from there.
Are you requiring a Board of Health member to go with you?
Just me. I'm gonna go.
Okay, good, good, okay.
So I'll go. Yep. So I'll go. Police officer will be there with me, so I feel pretty comfortable with it.
Oh, okay.
And, don't hesitate to make a good decision and get the thing resolved.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, I was just gonna nominate Gavin to go, because I have no desire to go into that house. But since we don't have to, I think we're good. Okay, let's get back here. So, now we are on 1.8 FY '23 budget submission.
And Rick, do you have any numbers from Neshoba?
I'm checking right now because I didn't. But,
Okay.
Oh, you guys are killing me, you're gonna
no,
make,
it doesn't
you're gonna
look like
make,
it did.
you're gonna make
I
me
will.
pay for Luke
I
and
think I will
Mary.
definitely have them tomorrow, though.
Okay.
So if I can hound Jim and get them for you, I will.
So we're gonna push that to the next meeting.
No, we're gonna discuss everything else but that. Is there anything else that you have for Rick?
I have absolutely nothing for you, son, I appreciate your time.
All right. So I'll work with Carla to
Yeah.
get that hearing set up.
Yep. And just
Good luck tomorrow.
just for us, can you guys work on some kind of a rough mandate that the board can discuss?
Yeah,
at
I mean,
the
I'll
next
make sure
meeting?
that all the legal documents
Yeah.
stuff is in there.
Yeah,
You probably wouldn't be a bad idea to get legal review.
Make sure Rick takes pictures when he goes in that unit.
he wants you to take pictures.
Oh, yeah, I will.
Yeah, so we can actually see
Yeah.
what we're missing.
So, yeah, I'll put something together. It probably wouldn't be a bad idea to have Adam look at it,
Yeah.
if we can get approval to do that. And then, we can review it at the next
Yes,
meeting.
that's what I'd like.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
All right, no problem.
Thank you. It's basically, like I said, it's just basically mandatory masks. Obviously, in a restaurant, you're gonna take your mask off.
Yeah.
It's just to get the same stuff
It'd be
we had
similar to the
before.
state one.
Yeah, that we had
And
before.
the only thing that I would say is, if it's something that you wanna do, you really think about the enforcement piece and how you wanna handle it.
Yeah,
Cause a lot of towns have started to have mandates,
yeah,
but they're not necessarily enforcing them.
right.
So figure out what you wanna do as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, we'll discuss it.
All right,
And I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, guys. Good night.
Enjoy the kids and the game.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so, we are on the budget, Carla?
Yes, we are.
Okay,
Okay, so, I was just giving Gavin some data on the general revolving fund because
Yep.
he asked for background and I was able
Yes.
to get that. The current balance is $35,643,000.
yeah,
It's running excellent. The overflow bags are just flying off the shelves. So, the budget, process with the town administrator, salary and wages per union contract was a 3% increase. Level services, for any, level services, no new employment positions, we didn't have any of those. 2% increase in expenses from last year. This allows for, increases for inflation. We didn't have any capital requests. So with that said, you have here, and I did send you all this in a package, but this is the complete town budget, where when you come into the town, the Board of Health and the budgets that are there, you will see where it's inputted. Landfill engineering, as you know, is a contract. It was $19,000 last year. It's $19,000 this year. It's a simple contract. Could I have a motion, please, to accept the contract for FY '23 at $19,000?
Motion to accept the contract for 2022,
23
23.
for landfill engineering,
Landfill engineering for how much?
19,000.
19,000.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. So moved.
Okay, so that's excellent. With that said, you come into Board of Health Operations. Board of Health Operations with a 3% increase would take my salary from $43,495 to $44,799. So I'm pretty happy with that.
Wow.
It also gives the,
We're not laughing at your salary. No,
Okay.
we're not.
expenses, where you have the 2% increase, you have gained a whole $34.50 this year in your operating budget. Could I have a motion to approve the operating budget under 520?
I'll make a motion to approve the operating budget under 520.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. So moved.
Excellent, okay.
Woo-hoo.
Your, oh, and it shows my actual wage and other stipends. Your solid waste, as you know, is also a contract which was level funded last year, but you're actually going up about $15,000. So instead of $17,500, it's gonna be $733,388. Also contract driven, which you have signed. Can I have a motion on that, please?
So moved.
I wanna see
We
that.
gotta do a motion. Motion. No, I'm gonna motion it anyway.
Yeah.
Motion to accept the increase to the pay of the trash contract, which has already been signed.
3% increase.
3% increase.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. So moved.
Okay, excellent. To landfill operations, which is an expense account, so you're typically at $14,400. You are now at $14,664. You have gained $264 under your expenses for the landfill. Could I have a motion
Beer
for
and
that?
pizza night at the landfill. We got too much money.
I'll make a motion to accept the
No sense in
increase, the landfill operations for account.
Second.
30.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Surprisingly, animal inspection came under, it never used to be, but I do work with John King,
Yeah.
and his budget was $589, complete to $600. He's got a whole $11 extra.
Woo-hoo!
And he is aware of that, and I've reminded him that we need to start working on the barn book for this year because we didn't have to do it last year with COVID.
Yes.
They didn't want the people around. Could I have a motion to approve the animal inspection budget of 246?
So I'll make a motion to approve the animal inspection budget of 246.
Second.
Seconded.
Woo-hoo! Jim got that one.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Aye.
excellent. And then once we have the Neshoba Board of Health budget, I will let
Oh
you
my
know. The town administrator is aware, even though the deadline is tonight, that we probably won't have that until tomorrow.
Yes.
Do you need me for anything else right now?
We actually are just going through the work session, which is basically nothing, my friend.
Okay, I'm gonna sign off.
All
Okay,
right.
thank you, Jim.
Thanks, Jim.
All right, good luck, everybody. Enjoy that cold weather.
Yeah, absolutely, I love it.
Talk to you later, bye.
All right,
I
bye.
have my stuff in 6:39.
Yes, we also have the invoices next.
Okay, invoices, GW Shot, now I just want to point out, because you're at your level funded.
Oh, is this
They
the
had,
cycle you showed me?
they had a record high of 216 this month, 216 tons. That was only followed by December of 2020, where there was actually 300 tons in that month. But it's usually around 165, 175, and the recycling was 93.33. This contract is saving you thousands of dollars every month. I'm saying this would be like $11,000 more than what it is just for this month.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited and happy that you were able to secure that contract. I did get, Staples is also, I got a big wall calendar that has the 3 months.
Yeah.
So when you look at it, you can see the 3 months. Speaking of the recycling center, we
$26,
have,
did you get your name written on it? No, I'm just kidding.
we have a $3,000 credit for the disposal of the recycling center at Shaw's. Even with the $3,000 credit, we're already at $10,000. So they want $7,000. We do have $2,500 that we can account for with wood and plastic that can come from the grant. So this invoice is to take out from the grant work, $2,500, so at least we can get them some type of a payment for that before the end of the year. Usually we wait till the end of the year, but that number is really high. I completely understand how they would want some of those funds.
Yeah. This would be like at the end of the fiscal year? Is
Yes, we usually
Oh,
do it at the end of
June,
the
like?
fiscal year.
that June or July?
It's supposed to be done at the end of June,
Yeah, okay, so,
yes.
boy, something tells me that's gonna get real expensive. by
Well,
the time
next
we
year,
get there.
next year it goes back up to 6,000.
Yeah,
So you'll have a $6,000 credit. With the last contract that we had before, it was a $6,000 credit.
Yeah.
We'd end up with anywhere between $1,500 and $2,500 was what we'd usually have to pay after the grant money came out. So you're taking in twice as much, but then again, you're gonna have to pay for it
That's
to
true.
dispose of it.
that is true.
Jim's package to send him the plans,
Yeah.
was also for $26 for him. The annual recycling flyer.
Can we adjust the total on this for me, please? Can you adjust the total on that, please? Where's the total say?
Ooh.
There
Well,
you
the
go,
good news
thank you.
is that it's written up here.
Yeah, I know. but
Spell it
that-
out, but yes, you're right.
Yeah, the $268 was a
Yeah,
little
for
expensive.
Jim's overnight.
Sorry.
So,
Get that together.
so we have the annual flyer, I've handed it to you, the recycling committee went through it, it looks great, I'm happy with it, they're happy with it.
Mhm.
I would like to submit payment for that, $1,600, also available through grant money. It's very important to get this flyer out now because it has information on Earth Day, it has information join the recycling committee, the townwide cleanup, and that's gonna be there before you know it.
Mhm.
So you really wanna get this out in a
Yes.
timely manner. It
Um,
also has the holiday schedule for next year, which the only holiday that will be affected is Thanksgiving.
Really?
Every other, New Year's Eve, Christmas Eve, New Year's Day, Christmas
Well,
Day,
it's all on Fridays. Next
um,
year, is it all on Fridays?
it's
Or is it
No,
all on
Saturdays. I think it's all on Saturdays.
Next
Yeah.
year?
And then 80% of
This year
holidays
was
are on
Saturdays.
Mondays.
Yeah,
So it'll
So
move
they
to
probably,
Sunday.
they'll be
Sundays.
moved to Sunday.
yeah.
Wow.
So, and then
That's
the
awesome.
last invoice that you have, which I did get approval from the town administrator, was the Mass Notify flyer that the
Yes.
town of Harvard had sent out saying, we got a really good exposure by sending this out to everyone.
Mhm.
It is scanning a code.
Yep.
And I had sent it out, Ross finally had approved it because there is COVID funds. So he said, I approve it, but I really think that the Board of Health needs to approve it first. So there it is there.
Okay. Who's paying for this? Grant money?
That's great.
It's the federal money,
Oh.
yes.
I thought we didn't have it. Everybody
No,
told-
he's
It keeps
he's got
popping
it.
up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, didn't they tell us we didn't have any?
Well, we have it now, so.
That's
now you
excellent.
understand.
Let's use it.
So that is all for that. You have one set of minutes for December
Yeah, I
13th,
actually read them earlier today.
okay?
So I'll just initial them and we'll be all set.
Okay, and the annual flyer that I have, you just looked at because we have the invoice. And that leads you to future agenda items. Our next meeting is January 24th at 5:30. The recycling center will be open this week. I have David from the highway assisting. Our
Should I
cemetery.
bring Angie with me?
Do you want?
Oh, it's her birthday.
Oh, yeah, don't bring her to the recycling center on her birthday.
No,
So we
our
have.
next meeting.
Oh, that's right, yes. The recycling center is open this Saturday. I have an extra employee on hand,
Yeah.
just in case we have a problem with snow.
Excellent.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's all I have.
Motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn at 6:44.
I'll second that. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Wait a minute. Don't shut that off yet.
Oh, we gotta, oh, I should have
I
Motion
forgot.
to adjourn on the paper.